Hey guys, this is the Latinos in Education podcast by Alicia Cunha, and I'm here with Emily Silva. Say hi.
Hello.
And I'm going to be asking her a couple questions about, the topic of Latinos in education. So, first off, what's your ethnicity?
I'm Mexican American. My family is from Mexico, specifically, generally the Monterrey area.
I'm also Mexican, and my family's from San Luis, down there. What's your classification?
This is my first year, but I have a bunch of credits from high school, so technically I'm a sophomore.
I'm a freshman too. And where are you from?
I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Okay. I'm from the Austin area. So the first thing I want to talk about is our parents, because our parents have a lot to do with how we think and feel about education growing up. So, did your parents value education? Why or why not?
They definitely did. Ever since I was little, it was never a question if I was going to college. It was just something that was going to happen.
Right. That was the same thing for me. Definitely my mom always didn't even put it in my mind that I wasn't going to go to college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
it was never an option.
Right? Yeah. And I think that's because, she went to college. Although she didn't finish, she knew, how much education had value.
I feel like that's just the same thing kind of, because my dad went here. He came to Tech actually, and he was the first person in his entire family to go to school at all, and he did it all by himself. So he was he paved the way kind of I did it, now you're gonna do it.
My next question is, were your parents actively involved with your academic career?
I guess my mom was really involved in elementary school. She was always at the school and everything when my dad was working, because for a while she wasn't working. She was just a stay-at-home mom, so she was more involved like that.
I know for me, my parents were not involved with my school at all. PTA, they did not know what that was. Even the emails, they wouldn't get emails from my school. They weren't that connected. They were involved just at home. They weren't involved in school. Because they were always working and everything. So yeah. But I just wanted to emphasize that parent involvement is crucial for kids being academically successful. And this is referencing Thomas Rivera Policy Institute. They say the most frequently cited reason for low parental participation and communication with schools for the Latino community was a lack of time and the result of a demanding and inflexible work schedules. So that really hits home for me, because I know all the time, I would have to go get the bus myself. I had to be, really independent, because my parents, they were you better get the bus or, we're going to be mad at you. So I had to get the bus. I had to go to school. If I wanted to pack my own lunch, I had to do it.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Latinos, their family, is a really big impact on whether they go to school or not.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, because parents are so not involved, because I know a lot of Hispanic parents are construction workers, especially the dads.
Yeah.
They're construction workers, and they're up at 4 a.m. packing their stuff, and then they go for the whole day, and they don't come back until they come back.
Yeah.
It could be late at night.
And by then they're already tired. So they're there, but are they really there?
Yeah, and if you ask them for help, what are they gonna do? I don't know what that is.
Yeah. I didn't realize that the fact that my dad wanting me to go to school was kind of a thing that wasn't normal.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until my senior year people don't go to college after this, they're done.
Right.
And everybody's excited about their next steps and everything. I was oh, what are you guys doing after we graduate? And majority of my people that I've gone to school with my entire life, they're well, we're just gonna get a job.
Yeah.
Gonna take a gap year. I don't know yet. And I was oh, this isn't the normal. We're not all going kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's after high school, it's definitely not the same at all. I know for me at my high school, I already knew there was gonna be a bunch of people who weren't, gonna go to college, and it kind of made me sad, because I was I feel for them because, you know, maybe if their parents were involved, they would have, you know, gone to college.
Yeah.
But since they aren't, you know, they're doing whatever they're doing, and, you know, they just want to make some money.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like, I feel like it's like a luxury to go to college because, like, you have to, it costs money. You take time away from, like, what you could be doing to make money. Like, not everybody has that opportunity to just take some time and focus on school.
My next question is, you personally, did you ever question if you wanted to come to school or not?
No, I mean, like I said earlier, like, it was always, like, it's never an option to go to school. Because, like, the deal with my dad, like just to, like, reiterate, like, how, like, heavy he was on it, he was like, you're either going to go to school and I'll, like, pay for it and everything, like, I'm going to, like, take care of you. But if you don't go to school, that's your choice. But then you're on your own. Like, you got bills. If you're going to stay at home, you're going to pay rent. But that was my option. So, of course, like, I wanted to go to school, but then I really wanted to go to school for all that.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I actually did kind of question it. And even though, you know, like, my parents, like, really pushed it really hard, the thing that made me question it was my older sister. Not my oldest, but my second oldest sister. And she was like, you know, she did cosmetology in high school. She had her license and everything. Like, she was, like, ready to go. And she was like, I'm not going to go to college. And, you know, there was, like, a lot of backlash for her because my parents were like, just go get, like, a business degree at least so you can, like, open your own salon if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
But I think it really helped her not going to school. Like, I know school's not for everybody. And I think, you know, like, she's one of those people because she's doing really well on her own. Like, she has her own booth at the salon. Like, she gets clients a lot. Like, every day she's always booked. And I know a bunch of, you know, Latino people, mostly girls, they go that route.
Yeah, the cosmetology route.
Yeah, and they're still, like, very successful. Yeah.
I think it just depends, like, the way you were saying, like, college is not for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's just, like, an opportunity that some people, like, don't even think about.
Yeah.
That, like, it might not be for you, but it could have been.
Yeah.
If you would have just tried. But, I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like, I know with my family, so many people, like, regret not going to college. Like, I know I was talking to my tío, like, before I had left. And he was like, oh, like, what's your degree? I was like, oh, business management. He was like, I would have loved to do that. He was like, if I were to go back to school, I would have done that. And he was like, it's, you know, like, cherish it because...
Oh, you see? Like,
it's really big. And especially, you know, because he's older now. I mean, he has his own business. I think it's, like, scales for, like big trucks. So... it's, like, a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. You need to know what you're doing. My next question was, do you know people who haven't went to school, and how do you think that affected them later in life?
I can actually talk about my mom because she didn't go to college until I was probably, like, in middle school. So, like I said, my dad had already got his degree. He actually went to grad school. Like, he did all of it. But my mom had just finished high school. Like, she didn't, like, follow up with anything. And she was fine, I guess. But the same way we're talking about, like, how our parents, like, had, like, an effect on, like, what we chose to do. Her mom didn't care about school. So she didn't see the need to go to school. Well, then she saw my dad go to school and, like, his job and everything. And she's like, maybe I do want something more. Yeah. So she went to community college and finished her degree out in Dallas. So, like, I saw, like, both sides, you know? Yeah. So it did affect her until she, like, knew she wanted something more. Yeah. Another person I think about is my grandma.
She's from Mexico. She only speaks Spanish. And she only has a 3rd grade level of understanding. And I was just like, that's crazy. And, you know, like, she had to work the fields, like, she had to help her parents. And I think the reason why so many Latinos are like that, like, don't think of, you know, higher education as their next step, is because it's just fresh to us.
No, for sure.
Like, a lot of people don't have maybe the resources
Yeah.
to even think about coming to school. Like, many people don't even know about scholarships. They
For
don't know
sure.
about financial aid.
Mm-hmm.
I know my school, they push really hard for us to, like, actually apply to scholarships and financial aid. Like, it was a graduation requirement.
I was going to say, mine was a requirement.
Yeah, it was a requirement. And I'm so glad they're doing that because, I mean, a lot of people don't even know.
Yeah, or, like, they don't take the time to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Second half, how do you think that affected them later in life? Is it just, like, you know, they see the value?
I think we can go back to what you were talking about, like, your tío, like, regretted it.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't aware of, like, the opportunity they had when they were younger to go to school.
Yeah.
And they just lived their life, and it's affected them to the point where they wish they could, like, go back and change it now that they know.
Right. Why do you think many Latinos don't think education is an option for them?
I really do think that it just goes back to how you were raised.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine caring as much as I do and have if I didn't have my dad and my mom as well. Like, if I didn't have my parents, like, constantly, like, pushing me towards going to school.
Yeah, I feel the same way. In one of my essays, I was talking about this girl, Julissa. She's a TikToker, and she dropped out in high school too. And it's honestly because, you know, like, it's weird, her story, because her dad was, like, really pushing it, but her mom wasn't.
Yeah.
So I think it all depends on, like, how much they're saying it. Like, your dad could be saying it once or twice because you see him only after school, you know, after he's done with work, but your mom's there with you all the time.
Yeah.
And she's like, just work with me, just come to work with me, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, like, that story it kind of made me sad because he was going to work so she could go to school, and, like,
yes,
he wanted her to be better, and it just didn't work out like that.
Yeah, her dad, yeah.
I feel like as Latinos, family is really important. If it's not, like, just, like, school, like, being around the family is, like, crucial, kind of, like,
yeah.
It's very rare that Latinos, like, leave the city, leave their family.
You know, like, we always like being together. And I know a lot of people feel, like, guilty for going to college, like how you were saying, because they're away from their family, they're away from, you know, their original, like, familial responsibilities, like, if that's, you know, to take care of your little brother or sister, or maybe your niece or nephew, or even just, like, cleaning up around the house. It's very important, you know, for, like, Latinos, I think.
Like, to actually, like, move away and, like, do something, it's kind of uncommon, unheard of.
Yeah.
I know, like, there's statistics, I don't know the exact statistic, but, like, I know the graduation rate for Latinos is rising, which is great, but, like, I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see, like, my peers that look like me, that it's talked about, like, oh, we're kind of all struggling, but, you know, like, we're just, like, struggling alone.
Yes. And it's kind of weird how we were talking about, like, the culture is to be with our family, and, like, you know, people like us, but when it comes to this, like, education, how come we aren't a community?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, here at Texas Tech, we have, you know, different organizations, but even then, like, you know, we're still having fun.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking about, you know,
like
the serious issue.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's just, like, to me, I'm just like, but I want to find people who know the struggle. I don't want to feel alone.
Yeah.
So,
like, we can all, like, have fun, but I want to see, like, a change, like a group of people trying to, like, change how we're feeling.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, it's probably not going to be for a while until that change happens, and it's just because it's so ingrained in us.
Honestly, it had to try it out and everything, but I feel like I know what we're talking about, and you know what we're talking about, and we just talked about it together.
Yeah.
I feel like if we just opened up the conversation to even, like, a group as big as HSS, like, I feel like if you just, like, started, like, that's better than anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the fact that nobody is talking about anything.
I think it's also a little bit of kind of embarrassment. Yeah. Because I know we're supposed to be, like, really proud and, like, you know, not let anybody see our struggles. Like that's how
that's
you know,
also like
I
a
was
culture
raised.
thing, yeah.
That's how I was raised. Like, don't cry, don't show emotion. Even though you're a girl, don't do it. Like it's not a real thing.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I don't know. And even like mental health issues, like they're like, what's depression? What's depression? I've never heard of that in like a day in my life. But you know, I think just being aware is better than being, you know, oblivious.
Yeah, for sure.
To an issue that, you know, you might be feeling. I know a lot of people, they might not even know how to, like, come to terms with it or even say it out loud, like, how they're feeling. Because I know I was like that for the longest. And so one day I was just like, what is this? Like, why do I feel like this? And then that's where this whole project came from. And I was just like, wow, this is like a very deep underlying issue that nobody talks about.
For sure. And like I was saying, like, yeah, people, like, more Latinos are going to school, but I feel like if there was less of like this scared and like timid, like, kind of thought process going into it, there'd be so many more Latinos here.
Right.
It's just the fact that they don't know about it, and then if they were to try, or they hear other their like Latino friends or people that they know go right into college and they see them struggle, it makes them not want to go.
Yeah, they're like, if you're struggling, I'm gonna struggle too. Don't want to go through that.
So they won't even try.
Yeah. Do you think our culture impacts our academic decisions? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. Is it possible to change the dynamic within our community?
I do think it's possible. It just has to start small. Just bring up the topic of education and how we're different from so many other cultures. And be okay with that change, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to look like everybody else. The way we handle situations in college isn't going to be like everybody else. And that's okay. As long as you're able to, like, go through it with other people, talk about it, and make that decision.
Yeah. And I think we need to learn and figure out how to, you know, push out of our comfort zone and to be open-minded and not, you know, narrow-minded.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just with everything.
I was going to say, that goes outside of just, like, the education kind of thing.
Yeah, but I feel like education is where we could start, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.